All right, here's our tree. See that root plate lifted on the back side of that? Covered with ivy. Got a couple leaves. That one leaf goes off to the left, and the big leaves come out here. And it's hung up into this. That's holding right there on that one tree right there. It's a pressure point. And it looks like it's gonna hang up into that oak up there. All up in there. I mean, there's some pressure points up there. It's just, this could be a tangled mess. I sure hope it comes down. It's got enough weight. It ought to come down. I definitely don't want to put a climber up there. I don't want to do a crane work job up there. This is a kind of a wild area down here. And the client lives in that house there I've worked for many, many years. And the only thing we really got to be concerned about, looks like a fiber optic line. Can you see that line right there? That's the neighbor's house. So, got a lot of blocker trees in the way. I don't think this tree can get that wire, but we're gonna make a few cuts at the base here, see what happens. Obviously, this ivy isn't gonna make our life any easier, and how it hangs up in these other trees, and maybe if enough pressure comes down, it could knock another tree down, end up going across the street here. So, you know, this thing could get real funny on us. You just never know with this kind of tree. So yeah, there's a pressure point there on the right side, one on the left side, and then a big tree over here. We got this other smaller tree right here. These trees get scratched up. You know, they're growing in the woods. And it's a whole lot better than a man putting his life at risk. So, it looks like it's gonna come down to the side of this guy. I just hope it doesn't, that guy doesn't hang up in that crotch there. See, that piece there coming down in that oak? Sometimes they get funny, like that big crotch, if it hangs right up in there, then we'd probably have to get it as straight as possible and bring the bucket truck in or a crane or something. So you guys may remember many years ago, I put out a video called the plunged vertical snap cut. That's what we're gonna use here, a couple of cuts like that. See if we can get her just to keep sliding straight down. Keep it simple. I'm just gonna use the plunged vertical snap cut. Start at the base here, try to drop it like 5 feet at a time maybe, and see what happens up in those trees up there. There's some loose stuff up there. I don't want to get underneath there anytime soon, and some stuff flies back at you. So when this thing starts popping, I'm going to be running the other direction as it drops. It's a tricky tree, man. I've been doing this a long time, and this is one of those things that I don't know exactly what's going to happen here. Usually I look at a tree and I know what's going to happen. If it doesn't go that way, I'm surprised. This one, All right, we got a suggestion here. Vote for the bucket truck. Yeah, that's, I mean, I thought about it. That's one of the reasons we waited this long, because this ground was pretty soft up until now. We'll see. I don't want to put a bucket truck on this lawn if I don't have to, and I definitely don't want to put myself up in the air next to all that wild stuff flying around if I don't have to. But this thing, when it drops down, this first lead coming out on the left there, that's going to hang up in this other one, but it's actually already touching, so we're going to find out what happens. It's going to be fun. All right, it's Daniel Murphy coming at you from Wayne, Pennsylvania today. And we got a pretty hairy tree behind us here. It could go really smooth. It could just drop and just all cuts from the ground and no rigging, no bucket truck, no crane. It could hang up and we could have some major issues here. So we're gonna see what happens. There's some shrubs involved. There's a neighbor's fiber optic line to the neighbor's house. So, that's on my mind, but something else has been bothering me lately. I usually just keep it to the tree road, but I gotta say this, man. I got a young friend of mine, 26 years old. He just got sentenced to 10 years for a crime I know he didn't do. Couldn't have done this crime, according to the one witness whose story didn't work. But without getting into the details, man, it just has occurred to me that my father was a lawyer. He used to say, the United States has the best criminal justice system in the world. Well, that might have been true then. I don't know if it is now, Dad. I mean, I just got the impression that these district attorneys, they just look at it as a game. They want a guilty verdict. They don't care about guilt or innocence. They don't care about protecting your rights. They don't care. All they want is another notch on their belt. They want to get that 98% conviction rating. Another lawyer explained to me yesterday like this. College kids, they cross the border, they go to Mexico, they get partying, they get busted with some coke or some weed or whatever. The federale, the cop there, says, okay, we can take you into jail. It'll be a week before the judge can see you, or give me 10,000 pesos, give me $1,000 US, and we'll just wipe our hands, you go about your business. In the United States, we have codified the corruption. So, you know, you get busted on some trumped up charge and they hit you with all these charges. You know, they tack on 6, 7, 8 charges for some little minor thing and say, okay, we're going to throw all that out. Just pass for a couple of summary offenses. You admit guilt, save yourself all the hassle of going through the court system, pay your hundreds of dollars, whatever it is. The DA gets his conviction. The cops feel like, okay, we did our job, and they're all in it together. The judge is in there, the DA, and even the defense lawyers. I think they're all in it together. They're all just like, we're just going to milk this guy while we can and send him down the road here. And somehow, like, this is okay. And then I think, oh my God, what about all the innocent people that are in jail? It just breaks my heart. Say a prayer before we cut this tree, and we're going to pray for ourselves, and we're going to pray for all those innocent people that are in jail. And I hope you do too. So thanks for watching. I hate to rant about that stuff, but it has been heavy on my heart lately. If you know someone that's been in jail for something he didn't do, or someone that got some crazy sentence for some little minor infraction, you know, put it in the comments. I'd like to hear from y'all. I want to see where we are with it. This one here that's going straight up there, that's the second tree. That's a smaller tree right next to it. And see how much bend that thing has to it? That is just a giant spring loaded ready to throw something back and kill me. So it's a dangerous piece of work right there. I'm gonna stand at the base of this thing and cut it. I definitely don't want to get in the air anywhere near this thing. What a mess. It's got 2 major pressure points up there. Then it's hanging up in that other tree up there. Some smaller branches on the pressure points there. So this oak over here has got a little lean to it, not so bad, but you see it's got that lean left. That's got some pressure on it. The one next to it, that's just to the left of the swing set there. That one right there, that's got some weight on it, and this one here. They both have weight on them. Woo, we're gonna see what happens here. I think I might have just hit metal. Sure felt like metal. Oh my God. Oh, look at this thing. Oh, wow. You see this? I just hit that thing. Are you kidding me? Man, that's not good. The ivy was covering it, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna try, but that saw is not gonna be cut. Dude, did you put an edge on the saw? You sharpen this morning?
I didn't have to sharpen that, no.
That's so sharp, man. All right, here we go. All right, well, we hit metal real quick, and then I moved the cut down and hit metal again. Now the saw is not cutting right out. I'm gonna try to see if it's worth even using to try to make this cut here. I gotta get above the metal. Means I'm gonna have to work from this little step ladder here. And I think we're probably gonna have to sharpen the saw before I finish this cut. But I'm gonna start it and see what happens. All right, I don't know if you can see that or not, but we're through. A little strap at the top, a little strap at the bottom. We need wedges. Managed to get the saw unstuck. See if it runs. I'm just gonna cut this little tab on the bottom. Hopefully that little bit of wood on top is not enough to hold this thing up. See what happens here. That's it. That is it. She's finished again. I'm taking this bar off. I think I'm taking a bar off. We'll try to pull this thing with a rope or something. It's just so dangerous. So we just basket hitched this kind of accessory heavy line here. Whatever that is, probably 3/4. And then we got one of our old bull lines. Hopefully it's not too dried out. It's a really old line though, on each side of it. And we got this going to the pickup truck in the driveway. We'll try to see if we got enough to pull this thing off here. This driveway's kind of tight too. Let's just see what happens. Like it. The rope's gonna break. A little harder. Alright. Nope. Not gonna work. Alright, here we go. Cut that thing. I did not like that. There's the first cut. And we hit metal twice, got 2 bars pinched, stuck, and unsuccessfully tried a pull line, break that out of there. But we got it down. That thing's got to be, that top of that cut has to be as high as a basketball hoop, 10 feet. And she dropped, and it's looking a lot, I like it a lot better. It's not quite nearly as high as it was. It took the weight, all the weight off of this tree over here. That thing sprang back, no problem. And these two are not that, they're not getting pushed on that much harder than they were before. But the thing where we're stuck here, almost certainly, is that crotch right there. That's what I was talking about earlier. It looks like that's going to get stuck up in there. If we keep cutting, I think it's just going to jam up in there. So we're probably better off getting a bucket truck now and I'm gonna have to limb off. You know, this stuff just dropped 8, 10 feet, so it's gonna be a little easier to reach those tips. You got a pressure point here, pretty solidly there. Second pressure point there, and then third is up in that crotch there, and that's the one that concerns us. I'm like 90% sure that thing is just gonna stick right in there. That's almost a given. The bucket truck's gonna be needed here, but check those wires out, make sure we're off the wires. I think we're gonna be good over here. Probably stay, you know, these bushes, everything looks like it's gonna be all right here. It's gonna be. I can be right back here, and I can take all the top out of everything else.
That's what I'm saying, you're gonna have to get all of this crap
over
here.
I get it all out over top of my head. Yeah, that's probably the thing to do. Got that first cut made, and I decided it's time to go get the bucket truck because there's too much stuff locked up there. I'm telling you right now, whatever that is, that's probably 10 feet lower than what it was, maybe 12, the way it's dug into the ground and all. And I feel a whole lot better about going up there in that 75-foot bucket truck with this stuff a little bit lower than what it was before. And it's pulled back a little bit off those other trees. And I'm just gonna take everything down to the pressure points as best I can and make up my mind what's gonna happen from there. All right, we're maxed out in the bucket, you know, I mean, not quite. I was maxed out a minute ago, but we're up there. And I just took that guy down to the pressure point right there. I was leaning against the one tree. And the rest of the tree is pretty much everything you see with ivy on it here, except for these little tips here. But this is all tulip. I thought it was oak, it's tulip. And we got it down to that one pressure point here. I think I can bomb all the rest of the stuff out of here. I have a rope in case I need to lower anything out. And that piece over there that's kind of hooked on around that broken tree right there, that's a little questionable if I'm going to be able to reach that from here or not. But I'm feeling really confident about being in this bucket at this point to be able to take all this weight out of the top, get all the pressure points back, make sure we're going to clear the wires, and be able to lower if I need to. Otherwise, everything's right in the woods, should be able to bomb it all. And we'll just take, you know, turn this thing into a pretty regular job at this point, you know. And I'm going to tell you, making that first cut down there, dropping this thing probably 12 feet. These tips are probably 12 feet down from what they were. Makes this a much more doable job with the bucket. Like, much more doable. I'm feeling pretty comfortable about being up here. So you see how tall these trees are? That's how tall this tulip was, way out of reach. Until, of course, we got the help from the lean, but then taking that 12 feet off, that was the crucial thing here. I really... This pressure point over here, and the only thing that concerns me is with this lets go, all that pressure on that oak. If that oak comes at me, the boom's here, I could die. So I better strap a lanyard in here or something to this tree. I mean, it's unlikely because I think the whole top of the tree was being held by those two pressure points before, but it's just like, okay, like, why should we take more of a chance than we have to? Let's get a lanyard around this tree, this guy here. So I'm tied into the tree with a lanyard, and I'm untied from the bucket. Took this guy off of here because there's like a 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 chances this tree lets go all of a sudden. It comes into the boom while when I release this, make this release cut here. But see what happens. Just gonna undercut it, straight undercut. There it goes. All right, still alive. It's a very good thing. Now I want to talk about what you're doing for these cuts here. Like, how would you make this cut? I'm not going to undercut this thing. The only problem I could have is if I happen to if I'm cutting through this cut straight, it's going to rip and it's going to let go. If I happen to have the bar tilted this way or this way, when it starts to settle, it could pinch the bar. But as long as I'm even parallel to the ground, top, you know, it's gonna just open up and peel away. I don't have to make an undercut. So no, none of that. Nothing like this or this. Just straight flat cut. Straight down. And I actually used that rip there to kind of suck it back away from all those lower branches and the shrubs and all that. Now I got plenty of room. I can cut anything, cut as far back as I want. Alright, we got lucky with that bucket position. I can get where I need to go on this guy. That is a thing of beauty. See what this first cut looks like. Only thing we're concerned about are those wires over there. Alright, so I got to take this guy a little left. I should be fine, but so why not? Just give it a little bit of English here. Alright, beautiful. One of the last few pressure points on this tree. Got a lot of weight on this oak. When it lets go, that oak's gonna come springing back and forth here. I don't want to be in the way of that if I don't have to. Like, that thing's waggling all over the place. Can you see that thing moving around? All right. Our last pressure point here. I think this tree drops as soon as I make this cut here. Holy shit. Look at that thing go, man. He's on the ground. And that is a good feeling. The video shows the combination of techniques. I had to bring the bucket truck in here eventually because this tree was going to get hung up in some of these other big trees around it. It was laying up into 3 trees. It was definitely going to get hung up in the 1 tree. So I knew I needed the bucket truck. But the way it was set up originally, that was just, I was not going to have enough reach with a 75 footer to get where I needed to go and do it safely on this tree. So we came in and we used 1 vertical snap cut to bring this tree down, and it dropped probably at least 10 feet. As soon as it came down, I went over, looked at the steps, everything, the way it was laying up in these other trees. It was also clear, bucket truck, piece of cake, easy to do. So without that vertical snap cut, that would have been a really difficult tree to handle. Dropping that whole tree down 10 feet just made it smooth and easy. So I hope you enjoyed it. It really was a great day yesterday. Figuring out this tree was a bit of a puzzle, and I really enjoyed working with my coworker to put our heads together and make sure we did it all safely and in a good way. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.